All aboard your tech and games caboose. They had the Samsung S10 event today and they released 5 phones. So we're going to go over the Galaxy Fold, the S10e, the S10, the S10 Plus, and the S10 5G. So some are coming out soon and some a little bit later. So let's jump into the Samsung Galaxy Fold first. This was one of the most interesting ones. So here's the front of the screen and it folds obviously, and you got a little bit of a notch going on with 2 front-facing cameras. And there's 6 cameras in total. But let's go over some of the specs real quick before we play some video. And it has a 7.3-inch front screen, so that's when you unfold it, you'll see the main display, and it's a 4:2:3 aspect ratio. And then the front cover, when it's folded, is a 4.6-inch display. That's HD plus Super AMOLED 21:9 aspect ratio. And then the 6 cameras, we'll show again video in a second, but the cover camera when closed is a 10 megapixel. And then it has rear triple cameras, a 16 megapixel ultra wide, and then a 12 megapixel just regular wide angled with dual aperture for like low light. And then a 12 megapixel telephoto. And then it also has the front dual cameras when it's opened. And you will see a 10 megapixel selfie and an 8 megapixel RGB for depth blurring for pictures and stuff, and blurring out backgrounds during video and stuff as well. And then the processor is a 7 nanometers, looking like a Snapdragon 855 or similar, 12 gigabytes of RAM, so that's a lot of RAM in a phone. We're starting to push the limits there. And 512 gigs of internal storage with UFS 3.0, so faster internal storage. No micro SD card on the Fold. And it is a 4380 milliamp hour battery. There's actually 2 batteries in each side of the phone, so that was pretty interesting. And this is going to be running Android 9.0. So pretty crazy, and we have a short little unveiling video. This is coming April 26th, and it has the folding screen. They show a little bit of the hinge in a second. Not too bad. And then here is the front of the display. Let's just pause that. A little bit of a forehead and chin, but we won't really dock on points for that. There's the selfie camera, and then it folds open at 2 selfie cameras on the inside. And then what's the big point of this phone is multitasking. So the first ever apparent triple multitasking smartphone. So this is pretty intense. So basically you can watch a video, you can look at some maps, and do some actual exploring of like where you're gonna go eat in a third little tab, basically all on the same screen. So it's a pretty huge screen, good for Google Maps. We'll show in a second. There was the 3 rear cameras. And again, the 3 rear cameras, 16 and 2 12 megapixels. So pretty good. And that was 6 cameras in total. So pretty good big screen for taking pictures and looking at Google Maps, obviously. Movie wise, it's a little bit, you'll lose a little bit of the screen, but it looks like some gaming apps you maybe will take advantage of the full screen. So that is pretty cool there for a super large folding display phone. So pretty interesting for Samsung doing that. And then here's some more pictures, and the phone is going to be priced at $1,980. So we were expecting $1,500 plus, but $2K, we'll see how many people purchase these phones and like the triple app design basically. So here's from the actual live stream. YouTube takes some good advantage of it. You'll see the full video player, and then you'll be able to comment and look at other stuff. And then you can, again, do multitasking, a lot of doing that. And then here at 4120 is where they show maps. And actually you will unfold it looking at it on the front screen, and then once you unfold it you'll get the very large view. So they're using the folding device pretty good for apps and stuff, so we'll have to see. Not the best for like Netflix, but it's doing pretty good, you'd have to say. So there's a lot of cool stuff from the 2.5 hour live stream event. But let's check out the other 3 and 4th phone, and 5th phone technically. So the S10e is a 5.8-inch display phone. This does not have the curved edges, it's a flat display. And the fingerprint reader is not built into the display, it's on the side button. And then you have the S10 6.1-inch curved edges on the screen, and the S10 is just 6.4-inch screen. So these are the 3 S10 models, and then there's a 5G model we'll talk about in a little bit. But let's talk a little bit about the specs of this. So we get quite a few specs So the S10 5G is 6.7 inches. So this is going to be the largest one of the 4 S10s. So pretty crazy specs wise. The S10 5G is the only one with 4 cameras on the rear of the phone, and that is going to be a 3D depth sensing 10 megapixel selfie or rear camera as well, 3D depth sensing. So let's go over the cameras really quick, and we got a little bit of a comparison right here. On the right is the S10e, so it's going to have a 12 megapixel wide angle and the 16 megapixel ultra wide. It's not going to have the telephoto for the second camera. The S10 and Plus models will get the third camera, which is the telephoto, the 12 megapixel, and then they all three have the ultra wide to take super ultra wide photos. And then the other difference in cameras is that they all have the front selfie 10 megapixel camera, and the S10 Plus has the extra camera for 8 megapixels of RGB depth blurring, so you can take video and get a blurred background going on and pictures and stuff with pretty good depth blurring for that. So pretty interesting there. And then they all had the dual aperture rear camera for the low light photos, and we'll go a little bit more into that right now with some of the camera stuff. So this gets pretty cool. Here's some of the camera stuff again. They have a lot of good camera features. Again, here is the daylight photo in f2.4, and then for low light they'll use the f1.5 aperture to capture a lot more light and actual detail going on. And then 3 cameras, not just wide angle, but ultra wide apparently. So here is the ultra wide. So you get basically edge to edge coverage, you could say. And here is we'll switch to the regular version camera. So you'll get a little bit of a closer shot, and then the telephoto, which you can now see pretty good into the water. So ultra wide and telephoto. So 3 cameras are pretty good, and you don't have to change out your camera and get a bunch of different lenses to carry with you. You can do this on your smartphone now. So with the Galaxy line at least. Some other phones have some ultra wide stuff going on too, but pretty awesome from Samsung. And then ultra wide panoramas, so you'll be able to see a lot more of the sky and the actual landscape when taking your panoramas, your super wide photos basically. And then the selfie camera that overperforms, so the front camera enhances selfies without over processing them. So here is some depth blurring on the background. This is the S10 Plus version that has the 2 front selfie cameras. This would also be working on the Fold because that also has 2 front-facing selfie cameras. So pretty cool there. Dual pixel sensors, and then super smooth wide with no rig required. So they are upping their stabilization for their camera again. This is the S9 on the left and the S10 on the right. So a little bit less jumpy, some smoother actiony style camera if you're doing some action shots with your smartphone. So cool there. 960 frames per second slow-mo. So pretty good slow-mo video there. 30 FPS. And then they're doing some more AI work for this, so their AI can optimize different scenes for you. So it's a pro-grade camera without having to be super pro yourself. So there is 30 different modes now that it can detect and help enhance your photos for you that you don't have to do anymore. So sunset all the way to sky, it looks like. Sunset is in the sky, so pretty cool there. Live focus again, they're showing off some of the selfie with the extra second camera, the S10 Plus. So cool there, and it also can tell angle and help you get your shots better, so some cool stuff there. And there was also a couple little mentions in the actual live event that they went over, which was pretty cool stuff. So they have the Adobe Premiere CC Rush is optimized for Samsung now. So you'll be able to edit videos, clip stuff. There is some color correction that you can do also, and this will also support your displays, your HDR10 Plus display. So the S10s have the super 100% color HDR10 Plus tech built into their displays, so you're going to get super accurate colors now. And let's jump over into display now since we're talking about that. So here are the 3 next to each other a little bit again. And the phones, the S10 and S10 Plus have the ultrasonic fingerprint sensor built into the screen. The S10e is again the flat screen, no curved edges, and it has the fingerprint in the power button. So that is what the big difference is there for fingerprint reader. And then the infinity display we were talking about a little bit has, here is the pill little cutout that they had to precision cut out with lasers. I believe they showed some stuff, but this is an HDR 10 plus certified infinity screen that delivers clear picture even in bright daylight. So pretty impressive. They mentioned 1,200 nits of peak brightness. So it's going to be, I believe, the brightest of the S10s. I believe the Notes were also around 1,200 nits of brightness, so super bright, blaring out your eyes a little bit maybe. iPhones, I think, are around 700. So they're close to twice as bright as iPhones, last I remember. So this is 100% mobile color volume with a contrast ratio of 2 million to 1 by VDE Germany. So some good contrast and color reproduction there. Eye comfort display, this was another small little mention. This is a dynamic AMOLED screen with 42% less blue light, and I believe they said they do this without like that orange filter that they're putting over phones. So better at nighttime when trying to go to sleep and you don't want a bunch of blue light waking you up and such, and eye fatigue and strain and stuff. So that is pretty cool that they're able to do that with their improved displays. So pretty good there. And here's a bunch of the different colors. The E model, the S10e and S10 have 4 different colors: a prism white, prism black, flamingo pink, and prism blue. And the Plus version has a ceramic white and ceramic black version as well, and you can check out all those colors. So cool little mention there. And you were probably wondering what the prices were for the 3 S10 models. So we get $750 for the S10e model, and then there's some storage options. You can upgrade to 256 gigs for $100 more. The S10 is $900, upgrade to 512 for $250, and then the S10 Plus is $1,000 and you can upgrade to the 1 terabyte of storage on this for $600. So a lot of internal storage, pretty pricey, and these all have SD card slots for the S10e, I believe, all the way to the S10 Plus. So you can get 1.5 terabytes of storage on the S10 Plus version. So a lot of storage going around and a lot of RAM and stuff too. So pretty crazy. And that leads us into a little bit of a comparison between the S9 Plus and the S10 Plus. So 6.2 inches versus 6.4, and some other dimension changes. So it's going to weigh a little bit less, 175 grams. They're making more real estate with the screen, so they can shrink it down just a tiniest bit, 0.1 millimeters and such. So pretty good there. And then your triple camera versus your dual camera. So they're adding that extra camera, the ultra wide, and the front camera with the Plus model, and the 5G and the Samsung Fold will get that extra RGB depth front-facing camera. So pretty cool there. And then better processor, some more RAM, 8 or 12 gigs of RAM, and then up to 1 terabyte again. And here is some of the actual battery specs. And they also have fast wireless charging 2.0. That was something else we didn't quite mention yet. And that's 36% faster charging. And then there was also Wi-Fi 6, which is going to be 20% faster Wi-Fi transfer speeds. And they said 4 times faster in the live stream at congested areas like airports and such. So pretty crazy stuff going on. And we have someone saying hi and asking about the Galaxy Fold. That was at the beginning. You'll have to wait until this ends and you can replay the beginning for the full device. But the 5G is the 5th phone. And this, they don't have a release date yet, but this is the Samsung S10 5G. This is a 6.7 inch display screen, and so it's going to be the largest of them all. With 5G tech, you have to get a little bit bigger when you're going to the next G, apparently they mentioned on the stream. So they might as well add a larger screen on top of it. So not too many details here. Again, they have the 4th rear camera for the RGB depth sensing, and then they have the front RGB 8 megapixel for some more depth selfies shots as well. They do have a rough estimate in Europe. This was from the newsroom. They said summer, I believe it says somewhere around here. 5G rollout across Europe sometime in summer, so we don't have too long to wait for that. In the actual live presentation, Verizon was up on stage, and they are doing a partnership with Samsung to bring the first S10 5G to Verizon customers, I believe before other customers, so you could get like maybe a month in advance for the 5G model. So pretty interesting stuff for Samsung and 5G and all their phones. And they also mentioned a bunch of wearables. The wireless Galaxy Buds come with the S10 and S10 Plus pre-orders. That's $130 value. And then there's 2 fitness wearable bands, and then the Smart Active Watch. And you can, I believe, charge most or all of these with your actual Samsung device because it has reverse wireless charging. So we won't really go into the wearables because this is a little bit more condensed of a video, but a lot of crazy phones. 5 phones from Samsung today, and pre-orders I believe are March 8th. So these phones are coming pretty soon. And then the Samsung Galaxy Fold is coming April 26th, and then the 5G is sometime summer for Europe, and we're not quite sure US and the rest of the global rollout. So pretty crazy stuff for Samsung. And we will have another episode tomorrow at 1 p.m. Pacific with some more tech and game news. This was at Samsung, so we had to just do a larger video for just tech. And we'll be signing out. What phone are you gonna get? Leave a comment down below. Pew, 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 Samsung Galaxy Fold.